Kohler.
Thank you. One of the drivers of irregular arrivals is, of course, the relative paucity of safe and legal means of entering the UK. Has the Home Office looked at any ways in which we can increase the number of safe and legal passages and routes?
So I think, look, the UK will always need to do its bit alongside other countries to help those who have fled persecution. That's obviously what we've done with the Ukraine programme, with Hong Kong, with Afghanistan and so on. And we have made some changes to the Afghanistan arrangements earlier this year to help reunite family members who had been separated in the evacuation of Kabul, because that hadn't been done. But I think all I would say on this is I really strongly do not think that is an alternative to going after the criminal gangs and the work that we need to do in law enforcement to prevent the small boat crossings. And the reason that I would say this is because you can look at the 2022 is a really clear example of what happened, where you had that big increase in numbers, where some of the gangs were effectively doing a massive advertising campaign in Albania. And the criminal gangs will just advertise to fill the spaces that they have. If they have got spaces on these incredibly dangerous boats, they will run advertising campaigns to fill them. Because for them, this is a criminal industry that is based on them making hundreds of millions of pounds of profit from putting lives at risk. And so if we let them get away with it, and they have been getting away with it for far too long, they will just keep advertising, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on different forms of social media, and they will just keep putting people into these incredibly dangerous boats. And it's worth sort of talking to some of the people at Western Jet Foil about the way in which they have to respond, because these flimsy boats, and what happens is they can fold inwards as well, and they put the women and children in the middle of the boat. So when the boat folds, they can end up being crushed. It's not just that people drown, they can also end up being crushed to death because of these incredibly dangerous, they're effectively these death traps that the gangs are profiting from. So that's why I think you've got no alternative but to go after the criminal gangs.
It's not an alternative. Is it part of the solution, or are you saying there's no prospect of expanding safe and legal routes into the UK?
I think we already have different forms of safe routes. That will always need to be part of the UK system, and that is one of the things that we did with the family reunion for Afghanistan as well. So that will always need to be part of it, and all countries will always need to do their bits as part of that. But I think it's just not an alternative to the kind of enforcement we need against the criminal gangs who are making such huge profits.